All right, so I'm gonna make two videos real quick. This is to show the bezel and how it works, but basically there's a CD caddy door that gets pushed down when you insert a CD caddy. And then there's this other door here that will flip down when that door gets pushed out of the way. So watch when I push in, the caddy loaded door comes down in front of it. So you can kind of see, it's tough to do this one-handed. This door would flip down and this other door comes in front of it. And then there's a lever here that will push this caddy loaded door back out of the way. So you push that and then it's back reset to the state of ready to accept a new caddy. So that's the door. All right, so here I'm gonna throw a disc in without the bezel on, just so you can see. So when it loads in, everything looks good, it pulls it in. This disc will load on my desktop. But there's a lever arm in here that maybe you can see, but it looks like it lines up with the lever arm on the bezel that would move that caddy loaded door out of the way. But when I eject this, just kind of keep an eye on that. Eject it, the disc ejects, but that lever arm doesn't move at all. The other thing to note is when I do a manual eject, it also does not move, which I would expect it would have to, because when you're doing a manual eject, that door's got to get out of the way as well. So I'm assuming that lever is disconnected. Okay, so I wanted to show, I found the fix for the door not opening when I ejected a disk. So in the video I sent of the problem, you could see this little arm over here. When you pushed it down, it was just kind of flopping around. You may or may not be able to see that in the original video, but it definitely was just flopping around. Now you can see when I pull it down and I let go, it pops back up. So there's tension on it, trying to keep it as high as possible. And the other end of that arm is down here, and it's right there. And there's a little arm that sticks out of this sled that will push that up and down. And without that tension, it would just hang there and it would never push the door open. But you may or may not be able to see, there's a little wire here. So there's a wire that's putting leverage downward on that little portion of the arm. And the thing that gives that leverage is the other end of that little spring wire is clipped on. If you see, this is where you screw the board to, the main board for this CD drive. There's a little arm here with a notch cut out of it, and that's where the loop for the other end of that wire goes, and that's what gives it the tension. Mine had fallen off and was just dangling around down in there, so I got some tweezers out, reached down in there, grabbed it, pulled it back up in here, made sure it was seated relatively well, and now you can see it pushing on it, but basically it allows it to do it. So I did test this. When I eject, that arm now pushes down. I haven't tested it with the door on it, but I'll do that in a minute. But hopefully this will help someone else if they run into an issue where their caddy CD-ROM drive won't eject because the caddy loaded door sticks in the way.